Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're starting our walk in Boscastle. We start here in Boscastle, following the Valency River up the Valency Valley up to Minster Church. After an explore of Minster Church, we come back and wander around the harbour. Boscastle is on the North Cornish coast near Tintagel.
We've parked here. This is the Cobweb long stay car park. It's April 2021. If you're parking for up to 4 hours, it's £4.70.
With us we have a really old pamphlet. So 100 years ago, if you came to visit Boscastle, you'd pop along probably to the local post office and pick up one of these. It's called Boscastle, the Official Guide. It's a lovely little pamphlet. It's got adverts for accommodation where you can stay and buy your groceries. Just here on the back page is an advert for the Wellington Hotel Boscastle under new management. First class family hotel, wines and spirits of finest quality. Agent for Bass and Anglo-Bavarian ales. Get bus meets principal trains and daily coaches to Bude and Tintagel. This is back before the motor car really became popular, and we're still in the era of horse and cart. Another section that's of interest to me is here, walks around Boscastle. So that's the bit that interests us, the walking section. The instructions are pretty scant. Walk number 4 to Minster Church, the valley route. From the hotel past the water wheel over the bridge, bear to the right for 100 yards on the road to Bude. Pass through a gate on the right, through the valley 1 mile. Okay, so that must be the water wheel that the old pamphlet is talking about, do you think?
It's got to be, isn't it? It's in good condition, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got to find the Bude road. Well, we know where that is. It's behind this cottage, isn't it?
Down that way.
Yes.
Come on then.
I can't move. I'm tangled up. They've used the old mill wheel as a step. I love the properties up in Boscastle Way. The large slates on the roofs and that colour so typifies the area because it's so much character. The tiny windows, the thick walls and the squat little cottages, they all seem to nestle down out of the wind.
Wait for me. Thank you.
The Boscastle Official Guide tells us to the northeast of the village lies Valency Valley, 3 miles in length. Its woodland stretches, its wealth of ferns and wildflowers, its orchestra of birds. The audible sound of the cool running waters of the winding Valency River and the breadth and beauty of the landscape beyond make this spot a veritable fairyland. I do enjoy the gurgle of a stream or river. It's hard to imagine that this is the river that caused such a destructive flood. 2004, Boscastle, there was cars swept out of the car park down into the harbour and much devastation was caused. It was very distressing for the villagers at the time, no doubt. And it happened in August. Most unexpected.
It's not the first time that Boscastle was flooded though, did you know that?
No.
It suffered I think twice with floods in the 1950s.
So looking at this, it's so peaceful.
It is, isn't it? So when it was all flooded, all of this would have been taken away and downstream. I think that was part of the problem, that all of this debris and cars got snagged up down by the bridge.
Just acted like a net to catch everything. Really big stepping stones. They're actually gate posts.
Huge, aren't they?
Still got a hinge on it.
No.
Love those gate posts. That'll do, innit?
Chucked in there.
Yeah, just abandoned in a river. That'll do. Stepping stones, handsome.
You want a bridge there, Bert? No, I've got some gate posts in my farm. We'll chuck them in. It'll be all right.
Yeah. Proper job. We walk up through the valley. I'm hoping to see lots of bluebells. I want to get drunk on bluebells, overdose on bluebells. I'm going to be sick to death of bluebells by the time this video is over.
Did you mention about the bluebells?
Look at this. Beautiful.
What is that, Sarah?
It's a slow worm. I nearly stood on it, bless him. I screeched a bit. Frightened him, I expect. I didn't expect to see him though.
It's quite long, isn't it? What's that? About
12 inches long?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Slithers like a snake.
Doesn't it?
I think this has to be one of my favourite seasons. I get stupidly excited at this time of year. The unfurling ferns and the carpet of bluebells. It's like a tapestry and it really does look so pretty. Add to that the bright red of the opening sycamore leaves. The woodland is transformed at this time of year. Where's it? What? What's this? She's a good boy. She's a good boy. I'm almost excited enough to hug a tree.
You got to hug a tree?
Should we hug a tree?
Yeah, be a tree hugger.
A big one or a little one?
I'd start with a small one and work my way up if I was you.
What, just test it out, see
Yeah.
how it feels? Well, that's
Yeah.
a small one.
Alright, we'll go with that then.
Let's go with this one.
Alright.
It's quite elegant, isn't it? Quite an elegant hug.
Are you feeling the love?
It's a bit quiet,
Okay, well,
a bit muted.
do you want to move up through the ranks?
Shall we try this one?
Go on then.
Oh yeah, this is more supportive. Great big tree over there.
I'm going for that one then.
All right.
Feels nice actually.
You enjoying that?
Yeah, I am actually. It's quite nice.
I think we could go one better.
What's that? Take it home with us.
I think you can actually immerse yourself in this tree without doing any damage. I am now in a tree. I am surrounded by a tree. One there, three in front of me. I'm immersed in a tree.
It's the mad tree woman from Boscastle.
Hey, this is quite fun. You look up and it's just branches everywhere.
It's good. It's a tree. Weird.
The ultimate hug from a tree. I've got to get out of here now. How do I get down? Anyone that's got a woodland, you can hug a tree anytime. It's great.
I feel better now.
I do too. Yeah. Just for messing around in a tree.
Yeah, no, I genuinely do. I feel
At
relaxed.
peace.
At peace. It's nice. I've introduced myself to the tree.
So far this walk's been relatively flat, really easy. You're accompanied by the river all the way, gargling along, so pretty. Carpet bluebells everywhere. What more could you want?
As we're walking up through Peterswood at the moment, this actually is quite steep, and I'm sure that after rain this is probably quite muddy and probably slippy.
I've just grabbed the old guidebook. I want to just see what it says about getting to the church. So the bottom bit there in that paragraph says cross the stream by the wooden bridge, which we did, and up the steep path. It certainly is. I think the instructions are very brief, but they're to the point and they're accurate. So even after all these years, the official Boscastle guide still works. It's Such a tiny church. And no tower. It's like a pitch roof on the tower where the bell tower should go up square. Do you know what I mean? Most unusual that they've used slates, scalloped the edges instead of timber. Our Boscastle official guide says of Minster Church, Minster Church, St. Metheriana, on the side of an ancient priory, stands in a most romantic and lovely spur of the Valency Valley. The first rector was instituted in 1407. The church was rebuilt in 1870, except the chancel end. The interior of this church will well repay a visit. I wonder if we can get in. Is it open?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Let's go inside.
We're going to lead them.
Okay. It's quite peaceful. Little church. Areas are roped off at the moment. What a shame. I think you know something of the history, don't you, John?
Well, I was reading that back in Victorian times they had to renovate this, but the actual roof had fallen in. So I had a brand new roof put on it.
Oh, okay.
See how tall I am.
Yeah. Steep steps. But I always admire these churches being built in such remote areas when there doesn't seem to be any population to give a congregation.
I know, but this church, I think it dates back to like the 6th century.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not
very
this
long
particular
history.
building, but this is a religious
There was
site.
a church on this site, and I think there was a priory here as well.
Ah, okay. So one of the characteristics of this church is there's actually bats in the belfry, and they come out at dusk. So what are we after now?
I want to find a tower. It's something
Why?
interesting I want to show you.
Are you going to share what it is you're looking for?
I can't find it yet. Nope.
I'm getting very distracted by that magnificent magnolia. Look at it. So pretty.
Still can't find it.
Dog's getting very bored, he's whining.
I might have the wrong church.
Honestly, you couldn't write this, could you? Wrong church. We've walked all this way to the wrong church.
Try this way. They've moved it. I found it!
How long did that take you?
It's taken me about 10 minutes. Look, come and look.
Following the coins,
Follow the coins up to
and about
just above the
halfway.
window, top of the window height.
Yeah.
Can you see that up there?
There's an engraving.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does it look like to you?
Pair of scissors. Why a pair of scissors?
Well, nobody knows. So it looks like a pair of scissors, but it could be shears, which probably would make more sense. But nobody knows where it came from or why it's there. Now there are some theories going around. Now there's 3 theories as far as I can see. One is that it might be a mason's mark, and that's quite possible because when towers and churches were rebuilt, quite often the mason would leave their mark somewhere.
Second theory.
Second theory is that there was a priory here, or very close to here, and the stones that came off the priory might have been used in the rebuilding of the church.
Oh, okay,
And
so
they
it
come
could
off
have been
that.
part of that building.
Third theory, I think, is the most interesting one, and it's my theory. I think it's doubled up as Bert's barber's shop.
Bert with his mate Bert the farmer.
Oh yeah, they're all called Bert up here. Bert from Boscastle, it's a
It's his
thing.
go-to name.
No, it could be the mason's mark, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not very prominent, is it? If it was a sign of something, it's usually above the door,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, maybe it is
I mean,
a
he might have been
mason's
so sort of proud after building this, and he sort of, I'm gonna show this off, you know, because it's at the cutting edge of modern architecture.
mark. I think he just got bored halfway up and made something more interesting for himself, carved a pair of scissors. This will make him think.
He was planning to sell the church. He was going for a snip.
Let me tell you another interesting thing about this church. Down in Boscastle there is the Museum of Witchcraft, and there was a skeleton hanging there in the 1960s that was believed to be that of Joan White. Joan White was a clairvoyant, a seer, somebody that could be a healer as well, could be seen as a healer. Back in late 1700s, she was somebody that lived in Bodmin, and she had a very bad temper. This was due to the fact she had a big abscess under one of her wisdom teeth, and she used to get so unhappy and she used to brawl in the streets. Eventually the brawling got her arrested and she was slung into Bodmin jail, where very unfortunately the conditions in there, she developed bronchial pneumonia and died at the age of 38. Witchcraft Museum had her skeleton hanging there for a while. There is meant to have been all sorts of poltergeist activity whilst it was in the museum, and so they decided to consult another witch. She recommended that the skeleton be given a proper burial, and that skeleton is here, reputed to be Joan White, who died in, I think it was 1815, 1813, I'll look it up for you in a minute. In fact, it'll be on a gravestone, but it's just outside the church, so we'll go and find that. Oh, that's tiny. I don't know why, I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger. No wonder we walked past it. As a healer, she believed that if you took a garment from the poorly person, put a slither of that, hung it in the tree, as it disintegrated, the illness would dissipate. So here we have Joan White, born 1775, died 1813 in Bodmin Gaol, buried in 1998, no longer abused.
I find that really sad.
I do too.
It still has to be outside of a churchyard, isn't it?
Yeah, just because of that connection with being a witch.
Yeah. So you were saying that basically she had a terrible abscess on her wisdom tooth?
Yeah.
God, yeah, I'd be grouchy if that was
me
me
too.
as well, wouldn't it?
Teasy as an adder.
I'd be right teasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad enough when you wouldn't add your dinner.
Coffee. Oh, I'm bad then, Sarah.
You're bad now.
I'm bad. Come on in, let's get some food. Come on.
That old guide is really lovely to have, isn't it? A little old pamphlet that usually they would have got chucked away, wouldn't they?
So, interestingly, there's no date on it.
No.
But I have managed to date it.
How?
Or roughly, to within a period of roughly about 10 years.
Oh.
So inside it talks about the Boscastle Golf Club.
I did notice that.
Come and pay a visit. Now, I found out that the golf club, I think, opened in 1908, I think it was.
Right.
And it ceased around 1920.
And then you've got the First World War to maybe consider.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no mention in that guide about the war.
Okay.
But there's also a winter temperature guide in it from 1907.
Ah, so it's got to be after that. And also there's an inscription from Irving, wasn't there, at the beginning? Late Henry Irving.
That's right, and he died in
1906, 1905, something like that, wasn't it? So it's got to be about 100 years old.
So we're going from 1908 to probably 1914.
Something
so
like that.
we'll go 1910.
And there is lots and lots of mention that you can hire carriages from the establishments that you're staying in, or ponies. So there's no mention of motor vehicles.
No, it's all ponies and horses and carriages.
And walking.
Thing, isn't it?
But there is a most tremendous view of Willow Park and the church.
So what?
Absolutely wonderful.
Oh yes, look at that.
So we've now emerged onto the main road of Boscastle Village rather than Boscastle Harbour. Got these beautiful little cottages that we're surrounded by, again with that quite squat, short feeling to them. The little ceilings inside must be so low. Oh, we're near the school. There they go, all traipsing up the hill. They're going on a trip by the looks of it.
1879.
Boscastle County Primary School.
I'm trying to work out which one's my favourite.
Oh,
they're all different, but they're all so beautiful, aren't they?
but they have that classic Boscastle style of a beautiful slate roof.
Yeah.
the Delabel slate with the huge tiles, the little tiny stones in dark stone, aren't they? The tiny little windows going up into the roof.
It's soft colour tones as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they're beautiful. Big chimneys as well. All those things kind of indicate it's quite cold up here. Big fire, little windows, short houses. Yeah. Don't you think that is gorgeous?
I know, it must be a builder's nightmare. There's not a single straight line on this cottage,
Everything is
Everything
wonky.
is slightly wonky, but
Everything. Look at the gutter as it goes around the chimney breast on the next cottage down. So here we are, site of Boscastle Castle. Let's have a little look. Boscastle Castle. Boscastle derives its name from Boscastle Castle, once the baronial residence of the ancient family of Botreau, Normans from Angers, who settled here after the conquest sometime around 1080. I put my archaeologist hat on now. Got to try and find some evidence of a castle. I found some evidence of the castle. Here's a knight.
You can't come in, I am a guard, you are not allowed into my castle.
Yeah, that's about all that's here, isn't it? Oh, there's a wall over there, look. Now, is that ramparts? Let's say they're ramparts. And this is the site of the top of the castle. It's quite steep down there. I wouldn't want to run up there and invade a castle this high.
I'm in the moat!
He's remarkably dry, isn't he, for being in the moat?
Steep.
You're mad! I think you've earned yourself a pass.
I don't think that was a moat.
No, you're a bit dry.
There's a floor with plan of it being a moat down there.
Why?
Well, it just keeps going downhill.
The water would just run downhill?
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps the moat's lower down.
Right.
One thing you do notice is just how high up you are, isn't it?
Very steep-sided, isn't it?
It's been a characteristic of this walk actually. You go from very low down to really steep climbs that take you up quite high.
Yeah, it's a good walk.
I enjoyed it so far. Let's get down to the welly now. I love these little properties on the right. They fascinate me. There's two doors in the doorway. Aren't they tiny? How do you ever get any furniture through there? So the entrance to both cottages is in that single doorway. Two letterboxes, blue door and a red door.
It's so narrow.
I know. Look at the doormat you're stood on. It's perpendicular. So cute.
You'd have to always be on a diet up here, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Get in there.
Aren't they incredible? Yeah. So to find these cute little cottages with the extremely narrow shared door just behind the welly. In our old guidebook, there was an interesting advert from Ernest W. Couch, the supply stores, Bridge House, Boscastle. Here is Bridge House, no longer a stores, but a tea room. Interesting when you can see things like that, isn't it?
I know, so that was a stores then, was it?
Yeah.
What, like fruit and veg and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love the old tea signs they've got on it, the old enamel signs.
When Sir Henry Irving visited Boscastle, he described it as the prettiest village in England. Our guide says, visitors by coach or bus from Camelford Station, London and South West Railway, alight in the midst of a village beautifully situated in a most wild and picturesque valley. From the highlands, magnificent land and sea views may be obtained. The chief attractions, however, lie seawards, where are seen lofty slate cliffs. At the end of the harbour, the two headlands call for special notice. These headlands and St Meechard, a small island just out to sea, together with a breakwater and quaint pier, protect the harbour's mouth. It says the climate of Boscastle is distinctly bracing, with a remarkable low range of winter temperature. The medical officer's report for 1907 says, The district is particularly suitable for those who desire to recuperate from almost all the ills to which humanity is subject. I'll walk from Boscastle to Minster Church today, taking me somewhere I've never been before.
Yeah, up through the Valency Valley with those beautiful bluebells all the way up to Minster Church.
Divine. The walk instructions were really simple, but they worked, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's a lovely bit of history around here as well. Even found the scissors
Yeah. So
on the church.
What would you score it?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, just knocking it off a point.
I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if it brought me down to the harbour. I had to do that bit myself. If you've enjoyed our video today, give us a thumbs up, send us a comment. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. It's free on YouTube. Cheers!